Hi again everyone, I wanted to show you today how I make these little green spawn jars. I used to make them with a bit of like silicone on the top for a self-healing injection port. That was a huge pain in my butt, and I don't really do that anymore because I found that if you work in a still air box or a clean environment, simply pulling the lid off to inoculate with a syringe is good enough. So let's get into it. What you're going to need are some of these PTFE filter patches. They're autoclave safe, pressure cooker safe. These were, I think, $1 per sheet on Amazon, so very, very inexpensive. Any brand of wide mouth or small mouth mason jar, either would work for this. The only thing is with the small mouth, when you go to break up the grain, it can be a little hard to get out with the smallmouth, but you can still do it. So you need one jar. You're gonna need a drill bit or a leather punch or a needle, something just with a really fine point on it. Something that can kind of puncture the first hole. I have a foam mat here for using or for punching the holes on. I have just a regular Phillips screwdriver. It's about, I don't know, I'd say maybe about 3 millimeters thick. The size doesn't matter too much, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then you're going to need a hammer. You could do this with a drill, but I used the hammer. So first thing you're going to do, go ahead and take off your ring, set that aside, we don't need that. Take your lid and set it metal side facing up on your foam. Then you're going to take your punch or your drill bit or whatever it is that you're using to punch your little first hole in it. I like to put mine on the left side, so I'm just going to center this where I want the filter patch to be, kind of to the side of the little press button in the middle there. And I also want to make sure that I'll still have room to write a date and a label for later, a label on top and a date down below. So I'm just going to put this here and give it a little tap with the hammer. There we go. And just wiggle it to work it back out. Now we have just a nice tiny microscopic little hole right there. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Phillips screwdriver, place it in that hole, and just gently, not too much force because I don't want to break it, just work this down until it punches straight through, just like that. Now you have a hole that goes all the way through, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Phillips that's still in here, and I'm going to start kind of twirling it around. Twirl it around, and that'll open up this hole a little bit more using the leverage. And once we get into a kind of wide angle here, it's going to make that hole bigger. It's also going to help flatten down the little spurs on the inside of this lid from the hole we just punched in there. So if you put enough pressure on there, you can kind of work this back and forth and get that hole flat. And get a flat side where these spurs are basically punched down. And that should help prevent contamination from building up there. Some people choose to sand these down or coat them in a rubber gasket or whatever, but I haven't been doing that, and I haven't really had horrible contamination, so I think that this is good enough. So what I'm going to do next is just take some isopropyl alcohol here and wipe down the top surface of this, get rid of any grease or oils from my fingers, whatever, and just make sure it's nice and dry. And then you're going to take one of your filter patches right here, and these ones you can see that there's an adhesive ring, and then it's just the filter in the center right there. So you just take one of these, peel it off, and kind of use whatever light sources you have to line up the hole, and boom, there you go. You can see I got that pretty centered. It's a little off, but we have a centimeter to play with in the center, so that should do it. And that's it. That is 100% finished. So this guy's ready to be cleaned out and filled with a grain or whatever else you want. That's it. Very simple, very cheap, and it hasn't really failed me yet. So I hope that can help you get started. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.